Rather bad.
Okay, it is recording now. So I am Edre, and I'm recording this for my channel, Edre Reviews, and I want to start like a series on my channel where I like do like interviews with like local bands and everything, so that anybody watching could get to hear them or whatever. So that's like the reason why I'm doing this. And I guess I'll just start this off by asking how all this quarantine stuff is going for all of you.
Oh my god. I'm so bored. I miss playing shows.
Yeah, me too. I agree. What have you done? Have you read a book?
Actually, I have. I have read a book.
What book?
It's called Heart of Darkness by
Wow.
yeah. Well, okay. So it's by Joseph Conrad. So it's like an old book. So it's basically about like Dutch imperialism
Nice.
and them
Okay.
going to Africa. And like this guy, he doesn't understand like what's going on. But like, okay, so this sounds terrible. The book is really racist, but
Right.
it's really good.
Right.
I
like
think I know.
written-
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's like written really beautifully, but like it's really racist.
Wow. I have not read a book actually. I've
Well,
read.
neither have I.
What about you, Jackson?
I don't books.
Mm.
All right. So while we're talking about this whole quarantine thing, I just realized I forgot to mention that this is CherryHead I'm talking to, and currently
This is good for losers.
the drummer Nate is not with us right now.
He's
I mean,
not-
he's alive,
He's
but
not dead.
he's not on this live stream right now. But while I'm talking about the quarantine thing, have you guys thought about maybe doing like an acoustic live stream or something? Because I know you guys have done like other live streams on Instagram and everything. But have you guys thought about maybe doing like a show from home or something like that?
Yes.
I thought about it a little bit, but not that much. to be
I know
honest.
that Alex from Bad Planning is doing like a tour from home. Shout out to Bad Planning, they're great. But I think that's really cool. And if we could get Jackson to grab a guitar and sing some songs, that would be awesome. I mean, I'd be down.
I'm game.
Yeah, that would be fun. 'Cause I know a lot of artists have been doing that, and I think it's pretty cool. So I guess this one's just like a broad question to everybody again. Like, who would you consider like your biggest musical influences are when it comes down to like making music for CherryHead?
Anthony?
Ooh.
Yeah, you can go first.
I don't know. So that's kind of like it's a good question, but like it's a little bit different for all of us. So I guess me personally, as of now, my biggest like influences are probably still the White Stripes and I don't know, kind of idols at the moment, to be honest. Those two have been my biggest influences as of late. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that right now, I would say. God, I just blanked. I just blanked so bad. Taking Back Sunday. I always talk about Taking.
I love Taking Back Sunday.
They're just incredible, right? But I always bring them up in practice, and everyone's just like. But I just like consistently do that because they're great. I like the way that their vocals like pander back and forth. I like that a lot. So
Yeah.
I try and bring that to the table, as well as the Strokes. The Strokes are a big influence for us as well. Jackson?
I don't know. I kind of just listen around, and then like if I hear something, I try to bring it in. I don't know. I don't like I remember like we always were like MCR, Damned, White Stripes, The Strokes, and those are like the solid four.
Yeah.
And then like whatever else we hear. So I don't know. I'm not like listening to anything particular right now, but like I don't know.
Yeah, I like that. I like how like you guys have like a wide range of different influences, and you guys all bring like something else to the table. Because I feel like when everybody's just like trying to like listen to one group, and then they try to like play it based off that, it's like less unique. But I feel like when you have like a bunch of different influences, it makes you guys are more likely to have your own sound than like just copying other artists, you know?
Yeah, and then Nate has a bunch of them too. Like Nate's got a whole big list.
Nate loves like weird types of music. Not necessarily weird, but it's weird how he can go from listening to like black metal to listening to like pop, indie, punk.
Yeah, I feel that, man. I feel that big time. Like I'm all over the place with that.
100%.
Yeah.
So like out of like the bands and like I guess like the local scene of like, you know, the suburbs and everything that, you know, play at like the 105 and everything, like what would you consider to be like your favorite ones that you like to go see and stuff?
Oh, okay. Like bands?
Yeah, because I want to like, you know, I want like more people to know about these artists that play and stuff.
Oh, for sure. I mean, we have buddies from all over, but
Yeah.
we have so many. I like the Magnifiers personally. I think they're the best, but they've recently broke up, so rest in peace. Force them out, but I'm sure Anthony and Jackson could tell you more.
Me personally, I think my big top two at the moment are Death of Self and then Who Knows.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Death of Self is
so
good.
List. Yeah.
There's like so many other ones though. Like I know Zach, the guy that plays bass in Who Knows, just started a new like solo project band. I forget the name of it. It's like Daisy something. I definitely want to check them out. And Red Flags is on the rise as well. Definitely a lot of new bands.
Yeah, it's crazy how many new bands are always popping up because I feel like in local music, like 1 year feels like 5 years kind of because like I feel like time moves so fast, like with all the different bands that are always popping up and playing. So it's like there's always new stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
So last time I was like messaging you guys, you mentioned that you guys were working on like a new album or project or whatever. Is it going to be down the same vein as The Bothered, or is it going to be changing it up, or do you prefer not to say?
No, sir. Not the same. Not going to be similar. There's like 1 or 2 tracks that are similar. Besides that, whole different feel.
100%. I think it's better. It's such a good change for us. I feel like we've matured a lot.
Yeah, like there's definitely like tracks on this that are going to be like similar or like almost like a callback to The Bothered, but there's definitely like a few, I guess you could say, like oddballs on this.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun. I like it when there's always like new stuff. One thing I was wondering about The Bothered was like, did you guys self-produce that, or was it like, did you guys do it like with like a local studio or somebody else producing it, or what was like, how was the recording process of that one?
So me and Jackson both go to like School of Rock, which is like a place that like has lessons and stuff like that.
I used to go there for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had an instructor come to my house and we recorded that whole EP in my basement.
Yep.
Everything.
The entire thing.
I think it turned out like pretty good for it being like I mean, I've heard a lot of local like production stuff, and like I feel like some like are like, I don't know, it's like it sounds DIY, but I feel like it has like this production and like the sound of it, I think already makes you guys stand out amongst like some of the other bands playing. Like, I mean, I know like I really like that one a lot, and I brought it up on my channel once before because I was talking about like a bunch of stuff that came out last year, and I like brought that up for people to check out. So I'm really looking forward to a new album from you guys, or like your first, I guess, full-length album.
Thank you.
What are your favorite songs to play live? Because I've always wondered that.
I definitely really like playing Season 2, Mr. Stark, and then Monday. But I think my like all-time favorite, they're not out yet. So
Uh,
I'm just waiting till I get to do those 2 songs.
yeah.
I would say that my favorite to play, we don't play it a lot anymore because it's not really like a personal favorite of the band, but I really like playing social classes on the bothered because it's like really long and I like the smashes and I like the carry throughs and the verses and stuff. So I think that would be my favorite, but I have a lot of favorites on the new album.
Yeah, new album's got a lot of new stuff that's all fun to play around with. I like the couple times that we've played like maybe 1 or 2 new ones. It's always been like super like fun because it's always kind of like out of the blue. Nobody knows what's happening.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, what's that?
And I always love like the energy that's like kind of like in the room when like a band debuts something live, because like everybody's kind of like not sure what's going on, but it's like it kind of is like the first glimpse of what's to come. And I feel like that's what I always like about like the 105 and like DIY venues like that, is that like the audience is like you have a closer connection with the group when you're there, like at a show. And I feel like it makes it like more of a like experience in a way. But like I know you guys obviously play there because I've brought it up like 1,000 times already. But like, what other like how often do you guys usually like play concerts, and like how big of like are they all DIY shows, or are they like? It's a weird question. I'm like stumbling, but
Yeah.
I actually really dig that question. So a majority, like 90% of the shows we play are pretty DIY. Over the summer we had like a really big opportunity to play like out of state, and that was actually really fun for us.
DIY. It was
That's
at the
crazy.
Foundry in Cleveland.
Yeah,
Like an actual venue.
yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
that's cool.
But yeah,
I don't know. I mean, we do play at this DIY community skate. What is it? Skate rink? I don't know. I don't
skate
skate.
park.
Skate park. I'm so dumb.
Skate rink.
Skate rink. I've never skated. I have no balance, but it's awesome. It's called a Den. They're up in Oswego, and they're always super nice to us. So I would really encourage a lot more artists to offer to play there.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I find it like fun when like relatively local artists like get an opportunity to play in like a somewhat bigger somewhere out of like state or further away, because then it like gives you more exposure, I feel.
Right.
And I wanted this next question is about, because like whenever I'm like looking at like your page on Spotify, I always realize how Poland Pound has a lot of streams compared to, I mean, they all have like, for a local band, they all have like a good amount of streams, but Poland Pound definitely is the one that is like clearly I think the most popular right now. What is it about that song that you think keeps drawing people back to it? Because that is one of my favorite ones too, but like I want to know what your take on it is.
I think it's like it's the first song on the album. It's got like all the energy of the rest of the album, and I think it just kind of like it summarizes that whole period for us, like kind of like that area. Like that's kind of how we were writing. That's what we were doing. I guess I don't know. I guess it reminds people of like what we like when we used to play Waiting Room, and like like them hearing that, and I don't know. I guess it's like been around the longest too. I think.
It was the first song that we wrote together as a band, so it really surprises me that that's the one that's most listened to. But I really think that that the youth, like teenagers and stuff, can really connect to the song.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like what Jackson said. It's like the first song on like the EP, and kind of also like what Hannah said. It's like something that like all of us can relate to, and that's probably why I think it has like the most, I guess, streams. But I don't know. And kind of like what Hannah said, it was like the first song that we really wrote together, and so at our first show we like scrapped half that set. So I'm like, I'm surprised that this song has been like sticking around.
Yeah.
As long as it is.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive for like considering it's like one of your first songs you wrote. I've always found it funny though how like since I have like music and stuff, I always find that some of the songs that I like put together in a day that are like really like simple and basic versus the songs that I take forever on. Usually the ones that take like a day are the ones that people listen to. And then I kind of feel like, why aren't you listening to this other song that I spent forever on? And I've always found it funny how that kind of is always that way for me at least.
Yeah.
I like to think.
People like social class a lot, and I don't know why. We made the lyrics like half of them on the spot anyway. It's
We
like
made the lyrics sitting around a campfire in Anthony's backyard.
yeah,
with
it
the-
wasn't like anything special, but people want us to play it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like our edgiest song. It's like if I were to
Stop.
describe that song, that'd be like the stereotypical like douchey punk kid that's just like, I don't like the government. Like
It's
that.
not even that. We wrote it right after the Parkland shooting in Florida, so we were all heavy with emotions, and I feel
Yeah.
like that's what really made us dig down and put these words together. So that's why it's an emotional song.
Yeah, I could see that. I was actually gonna ask, like, when it comes down to writing lyrics, um, like, what would you get? Like, what around, like, what influence you is you the most? Not like artists, like what I also asked, but like, is it like personal stuff? Is it political stuff? Is it social stuff? I mean, or is it all of it? Or like, what is it that like usually dominates your songwriting?
Jackson writes a lot of lyrics.
I don't know. I usually write first and then think afterwards.
Mhm.
I don't know half the meanings to half of the things I write until like I've already put music to it or something. But I don't know.
I
So the
think-
lyrics come first, then the music
No.
usually.
Lyrics come after. I just decide which song it goes to.
Yeah, that's how I do it too.
Jackson writes on this new album. I think we've both, me and Jackson, have written like half and half, and then Anthony's done a few songs as well. We both had our fair share of writing lyrics. It's opposite for me though. I write lyrics first, then music, and lyrics are about just like stuff that happens every day to me. But then our supporters come up and they're like, this means this to me, and I think that that's just such a better meaning than anything that we could ever give them. I'm glad that they can discover their own meanings of songs.
Yeah, like, so I definitely think that each of us write, like, at least lyrically about like anything, and all of us write lyrically on something that's different.
Yeah.
So like, the few songs that I've written lyrics for, I've mainly based it off of like experiences that I've had, and that's just how I personally write lyrics.
So when you're writing like personal lyrics that like are like life experience or something that's like emotional for you, do you find it harder to write that kind of stuff and put it out there? Because I have always found that when I'm writing something more like personal or something more emotional to me, I'm a lot more self-conscious about it than when I'm just writing for the sake of writing.
Mm-hmm.
So like, how do you guys feel about that?
I think each of us feels like a little bit different about it. I know that I personally, at first when I like started writing things, so like Mr. Stark for an example, that's like that song, it could be like, so I wrote it to be like whatever anyone wants it to be about, really. But I personally wrote it off of like a really stupid like time in my life, and I wasn't super like nervous about it, but I definitely felt very vulnerable about it because like I'm putting something out that like there are not a lot of people know about, or like it's just like that personal.
Oh yeah, vulnerability for sure.
Yeah. I've always found it reassuring though when you're writing something that's emotional or really personal to you that like makes you look more vulnerable, but then like everybody likes it.
Mhm.
It kind of gives you more confidence. Cause you know, when you're just keeping it to yourself, you know, I feel like a lot of times you don't feel as confident, but once you get that kind of acceptance from everybody listening and they just start, you know, going crazy in the audience or whatever, it's like it makes you feel also a bit more confident. I've always felt, at least.
I agree. I think with like a song like Social Classes, with we like switched lyrics on the day that we were recording it because we weren't sure what was going to stick and what we truly liked, and that's the reason why we kind of put that song on the back burner. But then kids are like, "You better play that tomorrow. You better play it. I want to hear it." And we're just like, "Well, all right, we'll play it."
Yeah. So, oh, you could.
Oh. Yeah, I think that like putting out personal lyrics, it's like, I don't know, some like it also depends on like how you write too. Like if you're somebody that writes more in metaphors, you know, you can kind of, I guess it's a little easier to put yourself out there. But I mean, if you write, I guess, like real direct, yeah, sometimes that might be a little hard for people. But honestly, songs are songs, and people are gonna listen to songs, and people are gonna listen to you and what you have to say and what you have to feel. So I say fuck it, right?
Yeah. I guess back to talking a little bit about the new album, and when I was talking about like kind of the recording process of the Bothered. Is the recording process for this new one the same? Like, is it still like in your like basement, like, or is it like I just want to like, how is the recording? Is it any different? Is it the same?
Location wise, it's very different. So we're actually recording at Sound Summit in Naperville.
Cool.
But like when it comes down to like the actual like recording the music part, it's pretty similar to like how it's recording the Bothered.
Yeah, and who recorded our album last time was an instructor at School of Rock, and now this time we're recording with Nick, who sings and plays guitar in Death of Self, and Elliot, who plays guitar in Death of Self, and they're both great, and I feel more comfortable recording with them just because they're in a more similar spot and we're closer in age, so I feel like we can be a lot more comfortable.
Recording with the bros.
Yeah, recording with the bros.
Overnights with the boys.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So those are like, I guess, like the main questions I had, but I guess I just have some like some loose ones, I guess. Like, what are your goals, like long-term goals? If there's long-term goals, or if it's just like you're doing it in the moment, or like, I guess just what are your goals for the future? Like past this next album, I guess. Or do you guys think album to album and kind of try to like keep it close, I guess?
I think we've really wanted to try and plan a tour for so long, and we're starting to list a lot of places that we'd like to go to around the state because we do play the 105 a lot, and I feel like if we branch out and play new places, I want to just connect with more people. I want more people to hear our message.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I definitely want to do like music professionally and like as like a job. So I would like to like just take this like all the way, you know. But I guess I am kind of looking at it like album by album. So like for the one that we're like working on now and trying to put out, I would like to do like either like a statewide tour or like a few Midwest states.
After this album, I think I want to play a show. And then I think I want to do another album. Maybe
Good.
another show.
Good answer.
Like a tour, maybe. I don't know. See how far we can take this before it, crashes and burns like all things do. I don't know.
Yeah, I've always loved it when like local bands that play a lot of like local venues, when they like go out of their way to go on a tour. I've always found that impressive because it's hard enough getting shows sometimes that it would be pretty awesome to see you guys go on tour. Like I know Paper Towels recently went on tour with some other ones, and that was pretty cool. It was only, I think, with a few shows, but like that was still like an impressive like thing to do when you're used to playing like venues that are like a mile or two away from where you live. So I feel like that would be pretty cool to see you guys on tour.
That's the plan. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully.
All right, so that is pretty much all my questions I have. So thank you guys for taking the time to do this. It was fun.
Yep.
And I plan on making this into like a series where I do interviews with other groups and just, hopefully this helps everybody out a little bit. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for wearing that denim vest. It looks so cute.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. That is it for now. I'm going to stop the recording.
Wow.